How do you handle stress? Do you handle like a carrot, like an egg, or like a beaner? Let me give you an example. Now let me clarify there, beaner. Beaner is not used here in the way some people use it. A beaner in the past is a derogatory term used against Mexicans. Wetbacks, beaners. In this sense, it's actually the bean itself. Having said that, consider a young lady coming home and talking to her mom. Says, Mom, I'm stressed out. I'm stressed up in school. I'm stressed out at my work. I'm stressed out with all the people. I don't know what to do. The mom says nothing, but picks up 3 pots, fills them with water, puts them on the stove. After they get really hot, she puts a carrot in there in one pot, an egg in the other, and a cup of crushed beans in the third one. And after they get boiling hot, takes out the carrot, puts it on one plate, puts the egg in another plate, and takes the coffee and puts it in the cup. Holds up the carrot, shows his daughter, and says, Honey, this was a strong, sturdy carrot. And under stress, it became like a little noodle. Do you want to be a carrot? Or would you rather be an egg? An egg was fluid, and after faced stress, it became hard and rigid, unflexible. You don't want to be an egg. But the beans, when you poured it into the cup, gave you a great aroma, a beautiful taste, and made everything better. Now, let me go on with this. I lost my good tennis buddy, Filipino guy named Cesar Califlores. He passed away about 2 months ago, and I was allowed to say a few words about Cesar. I love the guy. I think he was born smiling. I think he was born saying good things because he made this world a better place. Let me give you an example. One day I'm looking at the Cypress Tennis Club roster. I see Cesar's name there, but he hasn't paid his dues. So I call him up. Hey, Cesar, in a very derogatory, commanding voice, I say, you haven't paid your dues. And Cesar could have said, Tony, why don't you mind your own business? He didn't. Cesar could have said, Tony, you're not even an officer of the club. Don't call me anymore. He didn't. Instead, Cesar took the time to explain. He said, Tony, I love playing tennis with you. You're very competitive. I love playing tennis with all my buddies in the Cypress Tennis Club, but I can't because I moved to Vegas. He clarified everything. Another time, we had a large congregation of Filipino tennis players in our club. And one day, there's about half a dozen there on the sideline. And there's Cesar in the middle. He showed up late. I was already playing. And when I switched courts, I stopped and looked these Filipinos up and down in a very derogatory way. And they sensed that. And in effect, I was saying, where the hell did all these Filipinos come from? And they knew I was communicating that, and their face showed that. I think they wanted to kill me. Instead, I said, we need more Filipino representation. Again, a derogatory comment. Cesar could have said, Tony, why don't you go back where you came from? He didn't. Cesar could have said, Tony, after you finish playing tennis, I'm going to take you behind the tennis courts and explain to you what Filipino representation is. And I'm going to bring along 6 angry Filipinos. That would have made me very nervous. Instead, what does Cesar do? Cesar says, Tony, you're a wonderful tennis player. I love watching you play tennis. I hope you win your match. And then one last thing. One day, Cesar shows up with a black Servite shirt. Many of you may know or may not know that Servite is a boys' Catholic school, highly respected, highly competitive, great reputation for academics, athletics, and discipline. I tell Cesar, Cesar, my grandson graduated from Servite High School. He was in the 2009 state football championship team. He won a scholarship to Boston University and graduated #1 ROTC. Presently, he's a captain in the United States Army and an Army Ranger, which is equivalent to the Navy SEAL. He'd love to have a shirt like that. Well, Cesar could have said, Tony, get online and buy him one, but he didn't. Cesar could have said, Tony, Servite just 5 miles down the road here. You can go down there at lunchtime and buy him one, but he didn't. Instead, Caesar shows up 2 weeks later with a brand new Servite black shirt in a beautiful plastic bag, and he gives it to me. And he doesn't even ask me for a penny. When my son is home from Georgia, Fort Benning, on leave, he shows up and I give him the shirt and he does cartwheels. He's so happy. Caesar had the ability, always looking at positive things, of making people happy. He didn't even know that he hadn't even met. Caesar, by thinking positive and thinking of some good to say, but every confrontation he had with a thing or a person made this world better. Mr. Toastmaster.